Hey guys, welcome to the fourth part of my Breakthrough card rating series, where I rate all the cards that come with the Breakthrough expansion from 1 to 5 stars. In today's video we will take a look at the US cards, so let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Alright guys, here we go. Starting with the 32nd Infantry Regiment, the 1K 2-1 infantry unit that on deployment draws you another 32nd Infantry Regiment from your deck. A very good deployment effect, so you can flood the board with 32nd Infantries in the early stages of the game and the card just replaces itself. A really nice effect, an okay stats card. I think I go with 4 stars for this. In US aggro, this can be just insanely good. Then we have the M10 Wolverine 2K tank that destroys enemy tanks that this unit attacks. Not attack, but damaged. Okay, so it's not just attacking, you also have to deal damage. Yeah, very specific text on that card. 3-2 tank. I think it can be a good draft card, but I think in constructed this might see not that much play. The effect is nice, but it has no blitz, so it has to survive a turn before you can benefit from it. I would give it 3 stars. Overcast, a 2K order. All HQs get +2 defense, all players gain an extra credit slot and draw a card. So in order where also your opponents benefits from, I don't like it. I would not play it because you also give your opponent a big advantage. You're not gaining an advantage for yourself, so I would give it. Okay, let's give it 2 stars. Then we have the countermeasure sniped. When an enemy unit attacks, it becomes 2-2. I'm really excited to see that card in action. I think it can be very, very broken. I mean, there are not that many units that have lower stats than 2-2. So very, very often the attacking unit is getting nerfed. That's why I think sniped can be a very, very good countermeasure. I would give it 4 stars. Then we have the 3K deployment cost, 4 operation cost, Force Marines with 6/6 stats and blitz. I mean, this card seems balanced. With 4 operation cost, you can early blitz with it on turn 7, and even if you deploy it on turn 3, all you can do next turn is attack with it. But this card synergizes so perfectly with both of the ranks that we will see as next card that I think the card alone is fine, but the possibilities and synergies with other cards is just too strong. Yeah, I think we might whether see this nerfed or bolster the ranks. I think the card alone is fine. It is good and strong. Of course, besides bolster the ranks, there are also other options to decrease the operation cost of your units. For example, with what is it? Land of the Free. So yeah, I think this card alone I would rate with 4 stars. It's good, it's strong, but not overpowered. But yeah, let's come to bolster the ranks. With bolster the ranks, as 3K order, you can give target unit plus attack and defense equal to its operation cost and then set it to 0. So if you imagine playing this on turn 6 on the Forced Marines, you suddenly have a 10-10 Blitz infantry unit with 0 operation cost. Yeah. Also, any other option. You can also combine this with stand fast, for example, to give your units +5/+5, depending. No, it depends on their additional 5+5/+5, depending on their original credit cost. So yeah, I think this card, even alone on the B17, you make the B17 8/8 bomber with 0 operation cost. So there will be some very nice combos with both of the ranks, and I would rate this card. I think I give it 5 stars. This card is super, super strong. Then we have the US military research. In comparison to the British and the German researches, I like the early stages of the US one not too much. I think they are way worse than the other options from the other nations. But the Manhattan Project is what you are looking for with this card, I guess. But even then, 12k to deal 10 damage to all enemies. You get it twice, okay. But compared to the other researches, I like the US one the least. So I would only give it 3.5 stars. And then we have the campaign trail order. 4k. All your units are fully repaired and operate for free this turn. Also a card that can be very strong. Just 2 bombers would be enough to make it worth playing it, because then you equalize the operation cost from the bombers. But you're additionally healing them. So the more units you have on board, the way more worse he becomes. This card becomes. When I first saw it, I think it was super, super strong, but in general, I think Cadet Nurse Corps is a little bit better than this, because this might be the card that this is competing with. So I guess I just give this also 3.5. Next one. PBY Catalina, 3/5 bomber. At the start of your turn, draw 2 cards, then put a card on top of your deck. What I really like about that card is that 5 health, because it makes it way more likely that it's surviving. Also, the 4k slot is a slot that is not that overrepresented in a lot of US decks. You have the P40, and beside P40, I think there are not that many other options that might be worth to play on turn 4 in a lot of decks. So I think this card will be seen a lot. It has a good text, good stats. So I also give this card 4 stars. Then we have the 120mm M1 gun, 5k artillery. And you can choose whether it deals double damage to air units or double damage to tanks. Reads nice, but I think this card is not good. 5k for 3/3 stats, and you can only choose between air and tank units. Nah. Maybe in draft an option, but not in constructed. 3/3 for 5k is just too slow. So I would give this 2 stars. Then 75th Rangers, 5k, 4/8 infantry unit that reduces the operation cost of target unit to 0. So also a good synergy with the 4th Marines that we saw earlier, but also on bombers. And the stats alone, 5k 4/8 is not too bad. It's out of a lot of removal range. So yeah, also a card that has the potential to be nerfed soon after expansion. I mean, it's not that OP, but holy moly, dealing with a 4-8 is not too easy. And you can have 4 of these. We will see. I would rate this 4 stars. 5k C-47 Skytrain is the next card. A 1/6 bomber that cannot attack. Your unspent credits are not lost at end of turn. So if you deploy this on 5 and skip turn 6, you have 13 credits on turn 7. If this survives. I mean, the text, it is a nice concept, but the impact of the card, playing it on curve, is just so little, I guess. With just one attack, and it cannot even attack, so yeah, it's just sitting there and just generating value when you don't spend credits. Nice idea, but I think it's not working. I would give this also just 2 stars. Then we have the 6k order special assignment. Choose a unit in hand and add it to the battlefield. So this is a card that fits into the ramp archetype maybe, where you play a lot of heavy units. And yeah, with this card you can cheat them out earlier. But there are not that many targets that are worth deploying them with this card. Because, for example, the bombers, the Avenger, the B-17, you want to have the deployment effect. But I think that there are not that many options to play this order on. The only thing I can imagine so quick is the Fershing. Fershing on this will save you 4 credits. Yeah. So I think it's not that strong. Might be wrong, but I would rate this 2.5 maybe. Then we have another Spitfire here. This time not for Britain, but for USA. The USAAF Spitfire. 7k fighter 5.5. That draws you a random air unit on deployment. Yeah, 7k for 5.5 fighter. I mean, it draws you an air unit. Yeah, but it might not work, I think. I don't think that Spitfire decks will be that good. I might be wrong. So I would also just give this 2 stars. Last card, guys, is the 47th Infantry Regiment. 8k infantry unit. 4/4 stats. But each time you gain extra credit slot, it gets +4/+4. Looks nice. But I think the thing that is the most nice thing, the nicest about this card is probably the ass from this guy. 8k 4/4, and after that you have to play a card or a mechanic that gains you credit slots. Otherwise this is such a waste of resources, 8k for and 4/4. I would prefer the 2k infantry that gives the unit stats for the remaining credits over this card, because this is so specific. And sure, it can be after you gain 2 credit slots, it can be a 12/12, but how likely is this? I'm thinking about going with 1 star, but I think I give it 1.5. Yeah, I think it's not worth any more. Yeah, and that's it already for the US cards, guys. Let me know what you think about the cards, on what cards you disagree maybe with my opinion. And then we see us in the next video for the Japan cards. Bye bye.